This is Louisiana's Riverwalk Mall. So, and over there is the Cafe Du Monde inside of the Riverwalk Mall. This line has been known to stretch all the way behind us. So, this is how empty it is. Just so you know, the mall is not officially opened right now. It's 9:30. Opens at 10. We just walked out of the mall onto the Mississippi River. Going to catch that boat right there. Here's the boat we are going on, the Creole Queen. Give you a tour once we're on board her. Let's go aboard. Alright, we are on board the Creole Queen now. Go up some stairs. Go up more stairs. This ship is not handicap accessible, just so y'all know. And that's my nephew right there and my mom. Say hi! We're now on the third deck up here. And there's the Riverwalk Mall. For those of you who don't know, my parents do actually have a condo here. Be that condo right there. We can't actually see this from their condo. And there's the Crescent City Connection Bridge. The other side. The other side. This door right here goes down to the dining room and the bar. We're now on the other side of the ship. Starboard side. And there's a raft. Now we're gonna go back downstairs and go get stuff. Go check out the dining room. This is the inside of the dining area. There's a bar. They're doing $15 bottomless mimosas in here. And there's lunch. Let's go see what's for lunch.
Please cover your ears now.
Last operating paddle wheel boats on the Mississippi. The very first one was launched in 1811 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It took a 4-month journey to get down to New Orleans. It was actually called the New Orleans. During the trip, there were reports of a giant smoke-belching monster destroying settlements along the Mississippi River. This was not a big deal, but the earthquake of 1811 actually did destroy some settlements along the Mississippi and prompted some of the local Native American tribes to check what it looked like a monster that had made the ground move. So on that very first trip, there were Indian attacks. Earthquake middle, that happened in 5-4-3 2, 1, right there. There's your shot. A convent and bring a much-needed dose of education, moderation, and religion to the city. They built what is now the oldest standing structure in the city of New Orleans. The Ursuline Convent in the French Quarter is still there. It is quite lovely, and if you are so inclined, you may walk over and take a look at it. It's now a museum. The second oldest building in the city is a bar. And it definitely says something about our culture here in New Orleans that the oldest building is a Catholic convent, while the second oldest is a bar that was once owned by a pirate.
Jean Lafitte.
And it definitely says something more about our culture here in New Orleans than perhaps connection to him whatsoever. And 4, judging from a lack of iron in the ground itself, it almost certainly was never at any point a blacksmith shop.
Ligathon! Festival! More beer.
On his door, and that was his rebellion. It was rather half-hearted. It was actually a Spanish citizen, which is almost exactly the same amount of time that it was French. But the culture of New Orleans remained almost completely French. Spanish culture actually had very little lasting impact on New Orleans culture, not in language, cuisine, customs, costumes, or holidays. The reason for this is because of women. That's right, women. In our history, we had very little strength to speak of. We did not get involved in a fight between the two greatest powers on Earth. Instead, we stayed neutral. We were trading with both sides, which is somewhat duplicitous, but that is what we did. We'll cover that in a moment. Alright folks, on the port side of the boat we are approaching a series of very beautiful buildings. That is not a hotel, that is not a resort, that is a military base. That is the Jackson Barracks, it is the headquarters of the Louisiana National Guard. Now to my mind, to my eye, I think that is probably one of the more beautiful military bases that we have. Perhaps the second most beautiful. The first of course being West Point. But that is just my admittedly biased opinion. Yours may differ. So America stays out of the fight. We're staying neutral, trading with both sides. So when no one is paying attention to us, we start building ships. Lots and lots of ships. In the first decade of the 19th century, America expands the U.S. Navy, the U.S. merchant fleets, and U.S. whaling fleets so quickly. We build so many ships in such a short period of time that America, as a country, literally starts running out of sailors. We have so many new ships, we do not have enough men to man all of the new. Declares war on the British in 1812. That is why it's called the War of 1812. And if you're from America, I realize that you don't know anything about the War of 1812. And here's why. The very first thing that we did, the only thing that we did, was invade Canada. Thomas Jefferson had years earlier said this would be a mere matter of marching. We could walk up into Canada, take over the entire country without even firing a shot. Those Canadians would surrender, become part of the United States, we'd be one big happy family. It did not work out that way. The U.S. invades Canada in 1812 and we were defeated in almost every single battle. We were not defeated by the British Army because they didn't send anyone to help. We were not defeated by the Canadian Army because that did not exist. No. The American Army, now the most powerful the world has ever known, was defeated by the citizen militias of Canada. They took their own muskets, so they pushed the United States back into the United States. Along with their allies, the first Domino Sugar Refinery. Believe it or not, that is one of the largest sugar refineries in the world. 1 million tons a year, 7.2 million pounds a day. A lot of sugar. And the way you get 7 million pounds a day of sugar into that refinery is off of barges. That's what they're doing now. Those two blue, massive clam bucket shovels can drop 10,000 pounds of sugar per scoop onto a conveyor belt. If you do the math on that, 10,000 pounds of sugar per scoop works out to 17.7 million calories. A lot of sugar. The British then sent a massive fleet across the Atlantic Ocean. The very first thing that they do when they get here is invade Washington, D.C. and burn it to the ground. This was revenge for the Americans burning York and several other Canadian cities. York is still there, by the way. It is now called Toronto. After the British burned D.C., they go up the river to Baltimore. They try to don't have to go if you don't want to. The boat will be open, the music will be playing, the bar will be serving, the food will be out. But you aren't here, so you might as well. There will be a park ranger down there to give a description of the Battle of New Orleans itself. Thought for most of the time you're down there, if you do not want to listen, you do not have to. There is a museum, it is free, it has videos, artifacts, a few things for the kids to pick up.
We have now disembarked the ship. It's the paddle wheeler, which is over there. And I'm gonna go check out where the Battle of New Orleans was fought over here at the Chalmette Battlefield. Chalmette, Louisiana. There's a little museum right there we're gonna go check out. We're excited.
About 20 years after the battle, it has absolutely nothing to do with the Battle of New Orleans. It is literally empty. There is nothing inside it. It is also closed at the moment, so you cannot walk through it. Don't worry, you're not really missing anything. It's just 3 empty rooms. The ranger is going to be speaking just on the other side of the big pink building. The white building with the cars in front of it, over there, that is the museum or the visitor center, if that is where you would like to go. The only thing we advise you not to do. Number one, don't step on the dirt piles if you're going to be walking in the grass. There are fire ants. I'm not sure where you come from, but I assure you that is not a memory that you want to take home. Don't step on the fire ant mound. The other thing we advise you not to do, please do not try to walk in a straight line from here to the museum. There is a large ditch. It is filled with water. It stopped the British. It will probably stop you. That's you, Pikachu. I bet you could run and jump. You'd probably get a little dirty if you tried. So. And I'm going to get back on the boat, and I will see you guys in a little less than an hour. Ranger Ryan will take you from here. Don't be late.
Hey, don't forget, buddy.
We'll be here for just another minute.
This is the view that the British soldiers would have been walking when they were during the Battle of New Orleans. We're gonna go walk down this pathway over here. Pretty cool looking. This is the Chalmette Battlefield right here. Battle of New Orleans was fought here. We're gonna go check out the museum, which is Chalmette Battlefield, where the Battle of New Orleans was fought in 1815. That's 1815 between the American and British troops. The Americans won. You can do a self-guided driving tour. This building was actually built about 20 years after the war. We're gonna seafood pasta,
Give me 1 second, okay?
corn mok choux, chicken and sausage gumbo, vegan red beans and rice, and bread pudding. So we got a little bit of everything that they served up except the red beans and rice. Because I like all this food. This paddle wheel right here weighs 19 tons by itself. It's the main, actually it's the only form of power on this boat. Pretty cool. The real working paddle wheeler. Guys, we are on the starboard side of the boat, which is the right side of the boat. You got St. Louis Cathedral right there, Jack's Brewery. That's right, that's Jack's Brewery right there. You got Cafe Du Monde right there. That's the original Cafe Du Monde. I'm sorry, actually, I'm wrong. That's Cafe Du Monde back there. There's a tugboat. Actually, that's a ferry boat. And we are heading back to Doctors, New Orleans, downtown. Let's see, that right there is the aquarium. The Americas, owned by Audubon. So that was our tour on the Creole Queen down at the Chalmette Battlefield. Steph, what'd you think of it?
It was fun.
Food was definitely better than what we had yesterday.